So here we are, the very first day of our 30-day retreat on Ascending with Ignatius. And today the suggestion by Father Mark is that we reflect on Psalm 131, which we'll use as our opening prayer of the retreat. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Lord, my heart is not proud, nor are my eyes haughty. I do not busy myself with great matters, with things too sublime for me. Rather, I have stilled my soul, like a weaned child to its mother. Weaned is my soul. Amen. The psalmist says that his soul is like a small child sitting on the lap of his mother after having been breastfed. Imagine that child, probably the most peaceful little human on the earth. In a deep, deep rest, the child isn't thinking of things too sublime. He isn't thinking of deep and lofty thoughts, having philosophical or theological ideas. The child is simply resting in the arms of his mother. This is what Father Mark recommends that we do on the first day of the retreat. Place ourselves in the arms and on the lap of our Creator. Seek to have the restful spirit of that child today and for many years to come. Father Mark tells us that he was the novice director in a small country town in Louisiana called Grand Coteau, where I love to go for runs out on a country road. Jack Fox Road. Jack Fox Road was made of gravel and dirt and lined with oak trees and pastures with livestock. There weren't many buildings or cars, and about a mile into my run I would stop and pet Sammy for a while. Sammy was a beautiful black and white border collie who was quite old. He would just sit there, resting his head on my leg, while I rubbed him behind the ears and talked to him. This went on for years. After a while, when Sammy would see me coming towards him, he would sit smack dab in the middle of the road, waiting for me to get there. He became so used to this routine that when he saw me getting closer and closer, he would close his eyes and very slowly begin to lean. He trusted that my leg was going to show up right on time. I worried that someday my leg would not make it on time, and poor old Sammy would fall right over. But that never happened. My leg always made it just on time. With his eyes closed and his head leaning against my leg as I scratched behind his ears, Sammy was probably the happiest creature on earth. About 2 miles further down Jack Fox Road was another dog named Smokey. Smokey was a small mixed breed dog, much younger than Sammy. He was full of excitement and couldn't wait for me to get there. When I would arrive, Smokey would get down and lie on his back with all 4 legs completely spread-eagled, so that I could scratch his little chest or rub his belly. I watched a nature video once that said that animals do their best not to expose their vulnerable parts to other animals because they might be killed more easily. Well, Smokey must have never watched that video, lying there with his underbelly completely exposed while I scratched him. That dog was the happiest little creature on the planet. One morning I woke up very early as always and sat for my prayer. As I prayed and sat in God's presence, I started thinking about my upcoming daily run. I thought about Sammy and Smokey and the Lord. And the Lord asked me a question that I will never forget. In my mind's eye, looking at Sammy leaning against me, the Lord asked me, "Mark, when are you going to let me love you that way? When are you going to close your eyes and lean on me and let me love you that way? When are you going to expose your underbelly so that I can make things well again?" We all love dogs because they love us unconditionally. But I think we also love dogs because they receive love so well. We humans are not that good at giving unconditional love, but I would suggest that we're even worse at receiving love. And so, as the Lord asked me that day, I ask you today, when are you going to let God love you that way? When are you going to let God love you the way that Sammy and Smokey let me love them? And this is our task today. This is our mission on the first day of our 30-day retreat. Choose some or all of the following suggestions to pray with. Reflect on the psalmist's image of a small child resting in the lap of his mother. Think about Sammy and Smokey and how dogs allow us to love them unconditionally. Ask God for the grace to let him do that for you. Ask God to make you the kind of creature that can receive that kind of love from the Creator. Close your eyes and lean into God's love today. Let us close today's reflection with a passage one more time. Lord, my heart is not proud, nor are my eyes haughty. I do not busy myself with great matters, with things too sublime for me. Rather, I have stilled my soul, like a weaned child to its mother. Weaned is my soul.
To be in your presence, to sit at your feet, where your love surrounds me and makes me complete. This is my desire, oh Lord, this is my desire. This is my desire, oh Lord, this is my desire. To rest in your presence, not rushing away, to cherish each moment, here I would stay. This is my desire.